afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to an exciting and everything and amazing Propagandacast with your host, Imperial Dane, the one, the only Master Propaganda here of Psych Defender of the Fatherland of Etor 1v1 own. You guessed it, it is Road to Tunis in the West stands Imbbe, who is also playing Communist as it turns out. You're fighting for the Deutsche Sache Corps here with the 15th Panzer to be sure. Straight into a Panzer in the opening here versus these stands. Stephenn fighting for freedom, democracy, liberty here with the 1st Infantry, straight into a rifle start. And as always, a big hearty thanks to my patrons, supporters, and a very big thanks to Andrew for joining them. Big thanks to Andrew and to everyone else. Also, sorry for not giving Andrew a big thanks sooner. It's just I wasn't able to do because I kind of pre-recorded a lot of episodes ahead of time because you had a lot of great replays. I'd cast them before, say, I started hotfix wipes and so all of a sudden had a big buffer zone. But anyways, north with the scouts. In the south we got Panzer on the way here with Panzer Pioneer for Imbbe with a 2nd Panzer Grenadier squad on the way here. More hardened German mechanized infantry on the way there. North side here, Rifleman pushing forward for Stephenn with a 2nd rifle squad here. Clearly not airborne here for Stephenn. In the south, German troops keep up the advance. Otherwise, just steady C-shift terrain here by both players. Infantry on the move. Not much else to really sort of immediately discuss here. The German infantry with their Carbine 89 Kurz, which is basically the name of the bolt action they're wielding there. Not really a carbine, just a shortened version of the Gewehr 98, aka the rifle used in World War I. North here, Panzer pushing forwards here. Falling back here with the Scout squad. Southern points east here, right moving forward to them on Garance and a Thompson for the squad leader. 3rd Panzer squad here so far from Imbbe. More riflemen for Stephenn, I imagine. Yes, indeed. 3 Panzer grenadiers does tend to be a standard build, with some players of course just prefer going for a lot of Panzer Pioneer. Others, of course, will go for the Bassiglieri with Italian combined arms. So in this case, you see Armoured Support here. 3rd Panzer squad here, ready for Imbbe. So that's a fair amount of infantry to take on in the Americans so far. Stephenn here with a good push across the entirety of the map. Panzer squad here falling back towards the northern houses here. Partly some ruins as well. South here, right push forward. Looks like there might be convergence on the centre here from Stephenn. Looks like Imbbe's going to try and flank around here, maybe converge on the centre, second from several sides here against Stephenn. Panzer squad moving forwards here. No sign of tech yet here, though, for Imbbe. Perhaps a half track. Going for the fuel point there. Pretty broad approach here. Panzer being equipped with the Flammable air fob. And there you go. Round squad catching the Panzer here by the northern victory point. Squad could flank around here. They're also getting caught a bit here. And Rifle Squad moving toward the car point here, going for the fuel point there. A lot of engagements, a lot of action. Up north here, flanking around the Rifle Squad here. Just being fine. And in a big surprise, actually, we got a 4th Panzer Grenadier Squad here from Imbbe. That's a pretty big surprise. Most Deutsche Sache players just tend not to bother with a lot of Panzer Grenadiers in the first place. And when they do, they certainly don't go for full. But here we do go there with Imbbe. A highly unorthodox move and quite interesting in that respect. We'll have to see where this goes. I imagine it's going to involve some upgrades for the Panzer Grenadiers because I'd be thoroughly surprised if we went for 4 Panzer Grenadier squads and then proceeded never to upgrade them. But there you go. Got the fuel point here. Went from the fuel point there, which he never rendered neutral, to the car point, which he then failed to render neutral as well here. So less great there for Imbbe. Stephenn keeps up the pressure, attacking points here and there. Pushing forward to freedom and democracy. We can see their quick blocking position in the house here. Thwarting here in advance by Stephenn and his merry band of GIs in the south here. Rouse Squad caught in the munitions point here with the Panzer Grenadiers and Panzer Pioneer, unloading a lot of lead and a bit of flamethrower fuel on them. Half health already here, getting pretty hot here for Stephenn's men, and we're not just talking about the Desert Sun, we're of course also talking about the flamethrowers. Got the light support company up here for Imbbe. We got Rouse Squad, the Panzer Pioneer. Riflemen falling back here as they get literally lit on fire there. Send us here by the Panzer Grenadiers with Rouse Squad pushing forwards here. And there we go, light support company up here. Could go for machine gun, assault grenadiers, ambulance with that much infantry seems like a very good idea. He could also go for the fire support elements, maybe a feeling to support this much infantry. Also a very viable option here from him. We'll of course have to see. Rifle Squad holding up here. And far up north here, 2 Panzer Squad about to converge on one Rifle Squad. That's going to get a bit rough here for Stephenn's GIs. There we go. Roger there, dropping dead due to German infantry fire here. And we got a third Panzer moving in, occupying a nearby house here to further increase the amount of exposure here. The riflemen are going to be exposed to from all sides here, getting tough there for Stephenn. In the center, the infantry pushing forwards here. We are looking at a total of 4 infantry squads here and a mortar for Stephenn. Stephenn, a big mortar fan. Up against Stephenn, you can almost be guaranteed to run into a mortar of some sort. Panzer Pioneer, they're being bled out. Need to treat them soon. He would also benefit a lot from an ambulance or a fast half-track to heal them up, because at this stage, they're just like a few shots away from dropping dead. Stephenn falling back across the center here. The up north German progress is swift and speedy. And we got Stephenn's M1 mortars. He might be running with some crucial light artillery support here against those goddamn Krauts. In the south, scouts pushing forwards here. No upgrades for them. No utility package. At least not yet. We do get mortar fire there. Far up north here, just continued siege of terrain by the German army. The 15th Panzer Division. 4th Panzer Grenadier Company. Straight into the mechanized company here. Massive bits of bricks and such falling down there. Now, we get superior fire drills. That feels like it almost indicates it's going to go for the Achtrad or 234 or 232. Not the 234 as the successor to the Achtrad, a more improved version of that one, which also saw a variety of upgraded versions, of course, including the very famous Puma, but also versions with a center-family cannon, even the PaK-40. Panzers with Rap Squad and Center here quickly forced to fall back here, though, as they are easy targets out, and there is the Panzer Grenadier. North side there, Stephenn ordering a counterattack here for freedom and democracy. Gotta push back those goddamn Krauts. Also ensure that he doesn't fall too far behind the fuel race, because right now his opponent's getting 33 fuel per minute compared with just 13 for Stephenn. That is a significant difference. Achtrad out. South Panzer Pioneers scouts, low health there, so very low health. He really needs an ambulance. Never mind with all this infantry. The other question is, of course, he really also should go for the veteran squad leaders upgrade soon, because with that many Panzer Grenadier, you're really looking to like just push as much as you can with them. Goes for the grenade package first. I mean, grenades are pretty good too, but I was honestly expecting veteran squad leaders over grenades up north here. The Achtrad pushing through here, sending Stephenn's infantry running off. In the center, Panzer the Rifle Squad here. And the far south here, Panzer is being flanked with the Riflemen, trying to pull in some better cover here, but it's not quite going as smoothly there. And we got the ambulance finally on the way there for Imbbe. There's Panzer Pioneer there, are in heavy need of it, with 3 of the squad members just dropped dead. Not exactly ideal there, and would be a massive waste of manpower here for Imbbe to send to the front lines. Unless it's like supremely desperate, I would just recommend keeping the back of the base until the ambulance is out. So we've got smoke being deployed here by Stephenn. Smart move here. Ensures the Achtrad has very limited action against it. Of course, could try with the grenade into the smoke, but even that Stephenn can, reasonably well dodge, and it's not quite clear where he might be in the smoke. So the smoke fires off. Oh, insurance, and the mortar gets a good hit on the Achtrad. Excellent shot there. Second hit. Further increase the damage here done to Imbbe's armored car, but nice use of the smoke here, but Stephenn thumbs up. Allows him to contest the center fairly effectively, and of course just ensure doesn't get run off. And there you go. Mortar hit on the Panzer Grenadier. Quite a boom there. Forcing away those Yankees. More than fuel and munitions are falling to the Americans. South side, though, it is the opposite, as all these points fall to the Germans. You also could get some machine guns here, though so far, similar to the lack of infantry upgrades. We also seeing a lack of machine guns, so we got a Panzer group out here, and looks to be just in time as Stephenn calls in a Greyhound and follows up an anti-tank. Of course, the anti-tank rough guys won't be useful against the anti-tank gun, but they're going to help against the Greyhound. So, good call in there. A more greedy player here might have gone for the Assault Grenadiers, but that would have left Imbbe here deeply exposed to the Greyhound and lacking any significant counters. There you go, again, Stephenn with the smoke screen to protect his infantry from the Achtrad. Thumbs up. That is some solid smoke play here by Stephenn. Then we got the Panzer up here, sneaking up behind Stephenn here. Auto blasting away there. Fresh engine pushed southwards here by Imbbe, forcing the center also fighting there. Meanwhile, Greyhound is getting it, staying clear of the anti-tank rifles. Mortar crew, though, is not having the best of times. 2 other mortar crew members are gone. Greyhound fires away, the Punch is popping out, going to engage the Greyhound. Meanwhile, fighting over the center and now the south expands to be able to get 2 squads equipped with the MD-34. Effectively representing an actual Panzer squad that is roughly 10 men with 2 machine guns. 1 for each fire team. Whereas the Grenadier squad would have just 10 men, roughly, and 1 machine gun for the entire squad. They're just forming up 1 fire team and then a maneuver team. Fun fact there. Rifling northwards here. Scouts almost wiped out. Good kill here. Not the biggest loss for Stephenn, but it does remove an element to harass and create frustration with. We got the BARs now being operated for Stephenn. Of course, 4 squads with BARs will be a significant boost in firepower for Stephenn. Greyhound moving up. Right now, Imbbe just exerting excellent map control here versus Stephenn. No sign of yet like anything further out of his battle group here or Kampfgruppe. Got the Greyhound pushing forwards here, knocking up a lot of dust and smoke, but not much else. Achtat almost fixed up here. More machine guns here for Imbbe. He also has finally gotten the veteran squad upgrades, and that is 6-man Panzer Grenadier squads here. Also a bit harder to hit and with an experience gain bonus, so. Apart from middling, and that is then 4 squads, then gets the 4th squad upgrade eventually. That's going to be a lot of like pretty good Panzer Grenadiers here versus Stephenn. And we'll certainly think the significant challenge here that Stephenn will have to overcome versus Imbbe. There go burning through the Yankees there. Panzer Pioneer about to go up the Greyhound. Up north, he got Achtat pushing forwards. Panzerjägers in reserve. And Panzer Grenadiers leading the entire fight as well here. And there's under there. Panzerjägers catching the ground here. We got the anti-tank being pulled up here. Panzer Grenadiers keep firing at the riflemen here. Achtat falling out. Of 250 after falling out in the south. Riflemen versus 2 Panzer Grenadier squads, including 1 with the MD-34. And there goes Stielhandgranate. Stephenn just pulls out of there. Greyhound further falling back. Anti-tank and force position as well. And so could the mortars will soon be. Imbbe here with a hard-hitting blow here. Leveraging his Panzer Grenadiers ever so fiercely. So a nice push here. Stephenn is reeling a bit here. And we'll have to, of course, how he responds to this particular German affront. He has managed to upgrade some of his men with BARs here. Also worth noting, he's gone for the mechanized support center, so he can't further upgrade his infantry beyond just a couple of BARs. Rather than being pushed back here, Achtat backed up by Panzer Grenadiers with combined arms, and of course everything else. Certainly a headache there for the rifleman. Half one hit there, cutting off Stephenn from his northern resources. Really leaving Stephenn there in an awkward position resource-wise. Imbbe is just... oh boy, and we got a Flamm Panzer III out as well. Don't see that one a lot here. I mean, one, but I don't think it's necessarily because it's bad. It's just like, you know, are you typically just going straight for the Panzer III, so you're going for Stude D. So the Flamm Panzer at times can sort of feel like it's sort of in this awkward spot there, but Imbbe here clearly saw an opportunity to go for it, and he went for it. Brown here being caught, and they're just seeing most of the health just literally burning away. There's smoke being deployed here by Stephenn, perhaps in a planned attack here, but the Flamm Panzer III very much turns that into ashes. So this actually only makes the situation for Stephenn even tougher, as there's now more even Fletcher's infantry. Of course, he does have the anti-tank gun, but if, say, Imbbe were to launch a good flanker cleared up, we can see this seems to be going for another anti-tank gun. Likely in response to the Flamm Panzer III, realizing that just one anti-tank gun with a flamethrower tank out in the field is basically asking for trouble. Flamm Panzer III falls back the route squad. We got the second anti-tank already up north there, going for the car pioneer. Greyhound with an anti-tank grenade on the engine, and we got the half-tech filled with Panzer Pioneer with the Flamm efforts that giving Imbbe effectively 2 flamethrower vehicles here. One a bit more improvised, but certainly a headache and a half as well for Stephenn here. Of course, need to be careful with this one, as it is significantly less armored and significantly less capable of taking hits than the flamethrower version of Panzer III. Up north here, Panzerjägers push back, Panzer Grenadier repositioning. Stephenn here really on his back foot here now with 216 versus 434. Next, another controlling fact, he's about to lose his remaining fuel point here to Imbbe, and the 15th Panzer Division here, only making things more awkward here for Stephenn, to put it quite gently, and also I think increasing the chance of just Imbbe swarming ahead. And there we go, Panzer Command being Panther 3s are likely going to happen anytime soon, at which point Stephenn is really going to be with his back against the wall here. Rifleman pushing forward, grenades being chucked, and he actually runs in his rifle squad, losing Bob there to a grenade. Flampanzer 3 moving in here, burning through those Americana, and they're swiftly gaining a kill there. As Jonathan burns up. Rifleman here versus Panzer Grenadier. Achtrad and Flampanzer moving forward here. Anti-tank actually could go down here if Imbbe's feeling like particularly determined. There we go, burning through it rapidly. Achtrad there though, going down. Good kill here for Stephenn, removes a significant thorn in the side and limits the mobility of Imbbe a bit, but the Flampanzer 3 certainly should not be taken lightly. The infantry are just burning up alongside the anti-tank gun here, but no, doesn't commit enough forces to grab the anti-tank gun and lacks any way of destroying it, so Stephenn does recruit here, which does rather bring the entire thing into question, because at that point he just threw away the Achtrad for some minor manpower losses against Stephenn. Fresh push here, just relying heavily on the sheer, numbers of infantry possessive as Stephenn just launched these large assaults here. Definitely putting Stephenn though on the back foot again here. And soon Imbbe a connected push for the Panzer III Model L. Craft bombing here, we got airburst shell for Stephenn as he frantically tries to force back the Germans. 99 points left to Stephenn on the very edge of this point. Punch for the Grand right into the Panzerjägers are hiding out in the rocks, waiting for the right time to strike. Got pop an anti-tank grenade here, I think, on the Greyhound. And there you go, opening up here, got the anti-tank grenade off here as well. Damaged engine here, next on health from the Greyhound. There's a good chance here that Imbbe could get a wipe, but he lost a Panzer Grenadier squad in return, which is certainly anything but ideal here for Imbbe, particularly failed to get that Greyhound now. That's going to be extra expensive here. And he does get the Greyhound. Still expensive though. 300 man per 100 munitions is, not exactly small fare here to be chucking about. We do get the Panther III there for Imbbe and the German. He actually lost the Panzer Puny as well there, so that's 2 wipes now on Imbbe. And comparatively, he's only really wiped Stephenn's scouts. I don't think any of the riflemen have really, been snuffed out here. They could be wrong. So the answer to that is no. Stephenn, of course, has to rapidly push back. He's at 34 points, so he races for every single victory point. And here, Imbbe, having lost a lot of infantry and having his tanks heavily damaged, is a boon here. This means Imbbe currently has nothing to really throw at Stephenn. There's nothing to really block him with. Also, crucially, he has to kind of expend his infantry to repair tanks because he lacks the Panzer Pionier and he lacks the emergency repair kits. But we do have the Panther III ready now. We got the Panzer Grenadier popping into the 250 half-track. So Imbbe is rapidly launching a counterattack here with the 15th Panzer Division. And what is this? We got Imbbe with the M24 Chaffee. Things leading up here. Stephenn senses opportunity and he is absolutely grabbing it with both hands. Panther III opening up the engineers here by the northern victory point. And mines it off here. Rifle being shredded here by the Panzer Grenadiers in the half-track here. Combined arms bonus active. Giving them a good boost to accuracy. Panther III moving in. Rifle there now being shredded out in the open here. Nothing further out of the battle group yet. Chaffee moving in here on the other side. In the center, Stephenn digging in with anti-tank guns. And up north here, not so much digging in as of yet. We can see that Imbbe is committing a larger force here. Multiple infantry squads and the Flampanzer III here hoping to burn its way through Stephenn's northern front line. And we got a assault grenadier coup called in. Interesting enough when he could also go for just a Panther III here. Of course, it's also very possibly just wants more infantry. Which honestly is not a bad idea, but would also be a good idea? Another Panzer III, so we'll have to see though. 29 versus 54, of course, it could be the sort of massive victory point differences, just convincing Imbbe just needs to like get more infantry, more assault troops to just break through the front line here of Stephenn and just bleed him out here before Stephenn can recover. It's an interesting possible take here, and ultimately I don't really know, of course, what Imbbe is thinking here. I can only speculate. Got the anti-tank crew here, though. Need to retreat those Panzerjägers before they join the anti-tank crew. They almost got a rifle squad here. Anti-tank rifle in the Chaffee. Grenades off. Chaffee there suffering an immense amount of damage here. 24 points left for Stephenn. He needs to counterattack now. Meanwhile, Imbbe trying to rush the center here. I'm surprised he's leaving the north one like open like this, allowing Stephenn to grab it. Honestly, I think he just kept some infantry around there, but he actually allows Stephenn to just grab it back while at the same time trying to go for a triple cap here against Stephenn. I feel like this is pretty risky, but Imbbe in this case gets pushed off the center while Phone's again the north. I feel like if he just taken a more defensive stance here around the two other victory points, I think he might have a shot at something. But Panzer Peony on the way there, but crucial since he needs to repair his tanks faster and more consistently. Another thing to consider at this point might actually be the combat half-tracks upgrade, because he's got a lot of half-tracks, so maybe like going for some mortars here could be an idea. And the Flampanzer fleet goes down to 10, there's just so much action. I mean, Stephenn is just going all in here, knowing that like, if he's like too passive, he just loses this match immediately. Like, he needs to be aggressive, but of course, needs to be measured aggressive. He can't afford to be reckless, because again, then the match is immediately over, because he has got next to no room to maneuver with, but at the same time, he can't afford to be passive. He can't afford to just wait for his opponent to make the move, because if that happens, if Imbbe is allowed to sort of make the right move here, Stephenn's lost with no real room to like recover from. But yeah, I feel like he should at this point consider upgrading them, and obviously still moving about infantry rapidly with them is pretty good. Of course, they can also ride their Panzer III, so there's certainly a bit more room there. In this case, in the Panzer III southwards, we got the Chaffee on the way here. We got two Chaffies out, in fact, here for Stephenn versus Imbbe. An interesting choice here from Stephenn. Very interesting choice here, considering what's up against. North here, assault column underway here from the 15th Panzerdivision here. Mostly half-tracks that are supporting the infantry. Not a lot of forces nearby from Stephenn to meet reinforced with. Forcing him to abandon the center somewhat, at least to commit more forces in the south there. Stephenn is clearly just lacking the resources to commit to like a defense here. In particular, he also has to defend the north. So we're sort of seeing an issue for Stephenn in terms of like just, like he has to cover so much ground, but he just can't easily afford it. We got a grenade assault off here. Men dying. The half-tracks just aren't really achieving much here though for Imbbe. There we go. Assault gets wiped out. Half-track down. Imbbe is taking immense losses here. Second Chaffee, there we go. That's both 250 half-tracks down. We do get one Chaffee with the damaged engine. We got intense fighting here. Panzer Grenadiers, Panzerjägers ripping through the Americans here like a cat rips through carefully laid out dinner plans. Right from there, charging the Panzer, the Panzer Peony in the center. Losses are piling up. You could actually consider upgrading his Panzerjägers with an MD-34 as well, honestly. More airburst shelter from Stephenn. Stephenn is putting up a heroic defense here against Imbbe. His Panzer III rushing against those Chaffies. We do have the anti-tank nearby. He does get one of the Chaffies, leaving Stephenn with just one M24 now. We got Greyhounds up the Stephenn, and worth noting, he's clearly gone for armor, and that starts at Veterans who won, so might be an easy hit he's planning here now versus Imbbe. Imbbe can easily go for another Panzer III now. Panzer III in intense need of repairs. Another Panzer III there for Imbbe. So good, no, cancels it. It goes for assault grenadiers. I'm not entirely sure as to the reason behind that one. It's an odd choice here from Imbbe. I mean, obviously I understand wanting more infantry. The part would say, why not just go for Panzer Grenadiers, since you'd get a 6-man squad, you can upgrade a machine gun out. But whatever the reasons, he is going for more assault grenadiers instead of like more Panzer Grenadiers or another Panzer III, most importantly. I mean, he's also close to winning, so perhaps he just thinks like he just needs the assault grenadiers with access to the smoke grenades, like just, you know, force that final breakthrough here versus Stephenn. Perhaps that's the logic. I honestly don't know. It's also possible, now he's seen that his opponent's gone for armoured, or at least has a good hint of it, that he's actually concerned that if he commits to too many Panzer-IIIs, Stephen's going to bring in the EC8s, and Imbbe just will have no way of countering that. That is a possible interpretation, but for other reasons, instead of going for more tanks, he is committing heavily on infantry. And again, to a degree, makes sense, but I'm just a bit curious as to why we'd go for the Panzer near command and just stick to like one Panzer III. At least two should be going for here, but there you go. Almost got the ground here. Somehow survives. The engine is beyond damage. It's on fire. Right from there, meanwhile, being murdered. We got Modifier raining down death here. Panzer's about to get wiped out here. That's going to be pretty harsh here. 40 people loses them. Assault Grenadiers definitely not having a great time either. Panzer is right near. We got ace level Panzer Grenadiers there, ripping for the Yankees, but the Yankees are making sure work here. Imbbe's infantry as well here. It is a bloodbath here. Just corpses everywhere as neither player is willing to concede in the south here. The Panther is pushing in here. Pushing back the rifleman there. And another assault grenadier calling on top of the ones that just trained. Wow. I'm wondering again a bit the logic. Part of me again suspects it could be this particular type of like short-sighted thinking. He just thinks like he just needs to break through now, and he just like doesn't have to like worry about like the long term. But the more he commits to this, like the more Stephenn has a chance to like actually win, because he ends up making a lot of like bad short-term decisions. That was a phenomenon we saw sometimes from Company 2 again, plays like so close to winning, but they suddenly would just like, you know, start disregarding like any tactical sense and just keep making these super short-term decisions in the hopes of just breaking through when their opponent down so low. They sort of that victory rush there. I think that might be what's happening with Imbbe. Like he's just making so many very short-term decisions now in the hopes of just breaking Stephenn. And the Panzers they're being rushed in for some reason. Let's lose them here. He does get the Chaffee though, leaving Stephenn Chaffee less. With just more Greyhounds, like there's just burning American tanks and armored cars now across the entire map here. Fair amount of burning German half-tracks admittedly, but grenades off here. Assault guns with the Combined Arms bonus there. We got a big push here for Stephenn. Half-tracks about to go down. Southern Sun can see blocking as well there. Imbbe's assault. And we got the Grand rushing in for the Panther Fleet, backed up by infantry, and I imagine that's taken. Meanwhile, Imbbe committing to another push here on the center. He's just hoping to overwhelm Stephenn here, clearly, but I feel like there's a lot of risk involved here for Imbbe versus Stephenn. Oh, a lot of risk. The Panther Fleet taking a long detour. Clearly concerns getting spotted by 19, cleared up. We got the Greyhound with the damaged engine. We got airburst shells here from Stephenn once more in the hopes of dissuading Imbbe from existing on the center victory point here. Marching down a tank grenade here, and assault grenades is rifleman. Greyhound down. That's another armored car left burning here in the sands. Meanwhile up here, Panzer grenades is rifleman here. Ace level versus pretty much green. We got the water there as the Panther III could clear it out here, but it's going to be a big win here for Imbbe. Get rid of that. Even sees it. Grenade then pushed off. I mean, it would allow him to go for these points, but just deploying a smoke screen. But again, so could mortar half tracks. And we got Stephenn with another Greyhound. Stephenn also seems to be sort of pushed into like this short-term mode. Maybe again, this could also be like another element here that Imbbe's strategy, like he's just trying to prevent Stephenn from being able to build up reserves for the EC8, perhaps thinking that Stephenn actually is able to get enough breathing room to go for the EC8. Then Imbbe may lose, so he's basically just committing to a lot of this infantry now for pressure, now to force Stephenn to commit more forces now without building reserves then for the EC. So there's a lot of like potential mind games here in a sort of weird but very short-sighted sense here. It's hard to say, of course, ultimately what the thought process is behind these two players and like what is exactly is causing them to commit to this. Panzer is rounded out here. Panther Fleet sending out. That's need to achieved. Southern point rendered neutral here. We got 93 versus 16. Still nothing out of the battle group either besides just the superior fire drills and the Flampanzer III. They haven't seen like anything like vehicle awareness or salvage kits. No Panzer Storm. Mistook a dive bomb, mistook anti-tank loader, no command tanks or battlefield salvage. So seeing all the chaffers and greyhounds, battlefield salvage might have been a pretty good investment here for Stephenn, truth be told, or for Imbbe, not Stephenn. Now going to take down the Panther Fleet here, and it goes down. Imbbe's Panther Fleet is aflame, leaving Imbbe now with just Panzer Grenadiers, Assault Grenadiers, and Panzerjägers versus Stephenn here. In the south, the assault is about to get wiped out here as well. Stephenn shows no mercy to Imbbe, and the 15th Panzer Division in the center there, rival squad, overwhelmed by the sheer amount of lead here that Imbbe's men are able to just throw at him. But the losses are quite intensive. We got 69 versus 16. Stephenn is putting up a hell of a defensive versus Imbbe. But it is quite expensive. And now we got 2 Greyhounds out here. Again, Stephenn is just, again, going for the short-term solutions, which are Greyhounds. Pushing back Panther Grenadiers here. Imbbe there, force course shooting. He has anti-tank rival units cleared out here. Greyhound down, turrets sent flying off into the sky. Grenades being tossed left and right here. Almost got the other Greyhound. Panther's about to get wiped out here. Yup, that's another ace Panzer Grenadier squad here. Lost for Imbbe to Stephenn. These are just intense losses, and he still hasn't considered upgrading his Panzerjägers with an MG34. I mean, that would still be a good upgrade. 58 versus 13, but he is getting a bit of bleeding in here on Stephenn. Down to 11. Assault gets Rob squad here. Tactical assault here could be an idea there. No, instead we get the grenade assault. Less tactical, but certainly quite explosive. Almost got the assault gun swapped. There we go. Imbbe concedes for this opponent down to 6 points. He almost had him there, but yeah. Ended up just bleeding out. So there you go. GG, game over. Fierce back and forth fight here between Stephenn and Imbbe. Absolutely brutal. Absolutely ruthlessly brutal here. But yeah, and then it feels like just Imbbe really just fell into that trap some players used to do in coming to, which is like they can see the finish line, and so they suddenly like lose sight of most other things. They just throw themselves at it, just hoping they can push through. But this then leaves them open to like more, directed counterattacks from the enemy. And that's exactly what happened here. Stephenn just, was able to see that Imbbe was making mistakes and was then able to push through and push back Imbbe, gaining just enough breathing room to win this fight. So that was quite impressive between Stephenn and Imbbe. Quite impressive with a lot of violent back and forth here. Imbbe's strategy, I think, was quite interesting there, but yeah, he just lost sight of himself, and I think that caused him to lose the match. He just pushed for some more Panzer Fleets, and maybe consider just upgrading his 250 half-tracks with mortar half-tracks. I think it's been a good, position just beat Stephenn then and there, so something to consider there, but our way an exciting and thrilling match. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share. Consider telling your friends, your family, but not your enemies. This is Imperial Cheers, and see you all tomorrow for another exciting and everything episode. Cheers, everyone!